So let's start. Team A, you're on that side, don't forget. Are we ready for us to start? Everyone this side, Team A? Oh wow, you guys are ready. Okay, Team B, you're on this side now. Are you ready for us to start? Team B, I don't know. Maybe you guys didn't have tea. So we've had an amazing morning, really fun-packed. Laurie kicked us off with a wonderful keynote where she shared quite a lot about herself, her story. Very inspiring and at the same time empowering. We then had the all-male panel giving us the male perspective. And so we move very quickly on to the next keynote, still on the same theme of women, supporting women, and of men being the pillars to support their women, their wives, their daughters, their friends. So the next person I call up to give us the keynote is the UN Women Representative for Nigeria and ECOWAS. Her name is Comfort Lamte. Interestingly, she was at WIMBIZ a few weeks ago to meet with us. She's very passionate about women. She launched the He for She UN Global Initiative in Nigeria earlier this year. And the He for She is really about trying to end the so-called battle of the sexes and instead making it a partnership of equals. And so, with very great pride and waiting eagerly to hear what she has to say, I welcome to the stage Comfort Lamte. Please give her a WIMBIZ round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel very honored to address this very august gathering of women and men to reflect on some of the critical issues for advancing women's leadership and gender equality. I thought my task was easy and very straightforward, to share with you some of the experiences of UN Women to promote women's rights. But after listening to the first keynote speaker, Laurie, I felt I needed to maybe jazz up my presentation. But anyway, it's too late. It's too late for that. So let me just stick to my prepared statement. And let me also say at the outset, let me thank WIMBIZ for the tremendous and groundbreaking work you're doing through these annual conferences and the host of other initiatives you've launched to give voice to women and to expand their contribution to decision-making in public and private sectors. In this regard, I'd like to acknowledge, Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you didn't hear me. I hope this is better. Okay, so let me acknowledge the board of WIMBIZ and the dynamic chair, Madam Funmi Roberts, in this regard. And let me also use the opportunity to acknowledge Madam Aisha Ahmed as chair of the Executive Council of WIMBIZ on your recent well-deserved nomination for the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. We share in your pride. I bring you warm greetings from UN Women's Executive Director, Madame Phumzile Mlambo Nguka, who's only the second Executive Director of UN Women since our agency was established in 2010. The mandate of UN Women to promote gender equality and women's empowerment is as pertinent to Nigeria's development agenda now as ever. In sub-Saharan Africa, 1 in 4 women is a Nigerian woman. What this means is that if we invest in gender equality and women's empowerment in Nigeria, it will have far-reaching consequences for women, for promoting inclusive growth and the development of the West Africa continent at large. In the short time I've been serving as UN Women's country representative to Nigeria, I've had the privilege of meeting and interacting with some of the most dynamic, spirited, and entrepreneurial women, and some men, that I've encountered. So imagine what incredible development feats we will achieve if all the human resources of this great country were optimally harnessed. As UN Women, our work to promote women's rights oftentimes targets women at the lowest end of the economic ladder. We have, though, always recognized the importance of expanding partnerships to women across the board, including those at the top of the economic ladder. And if the Me Too movement has taught us anything, it is that exploitation and abuse of women knows no class, economic, or race boundaries. In this sense, gender equality can only be achieved when we take bold steps to dismantle patriarchy and when all women, irrespective of their economic status, have the tools, opportunities, and voice to exercise their rights to live a life free of violence and dignity. Let me take a few moments to remind us of some of the sober realities with respect to gender relations in Nigeria today. Nigeria is currently 118 out of 132 countries on the Gender Equality Index, and it holds 23rd place out of 52 countries on the Africa Gender Equality Index. An estimated 70% of women in this country live below the poverty line, and this is an unacceptable reality in the largest economy of Africa. The Nigerian Democratic and Health Survey from 2014 indicates that about 30% of women between the ages of 15 to 49 experience physical and sexual abuses, and an estimated 17% of girls get married before the age of 15. Today, only 6.7% of women are represented in elected political office at the federal level, whilst at the state level, women make up only 3.9% of elected officials. In the northeast of Nigeria, where the Boko Haram crisis has resulted in mass displacements and severe violations of the rights of women and girls, over 60% of out-of-school children are girls, whilst an estimated 6 out of 10 women have experienced some form of gender-based violence. So we must reverse this picture, as Nigeria's status as the giant of Africa must be evident in the status of empowerment of women of this country. And there is hope, because in 2015, governments the world over agreed on a global development compact by way of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which provides renewed opportunities for advancing women's rights and gender equality. And Nigeria, as a member of the community of nations committed to achieving this ambitious agenda of development and progress through the 17 SDGs, all of which reflect gender priorities, and which also includes a standalone goal, Goal 5, dedicated to promoting gender equality. For us as UN Women, our work in this country is centrally driven by the objective of supporting Nigeria to advance